This is my Lab 3 presentation. The main purpose of this lab was to determine how distance from a bar magnet affects magnetic field. The main models and principles used were the Biot-Savart law, the magnetic field on axis, and the magnetic field of a bar magnet. And the results were that the magnetic field is inversely related to distance. N was equal to negative 2.92. The magnetic dipole moment was 2.09 amperes times meter squared. After doing the necessary calculations, it was determined that K was equal to 4.18 times 10 to the negative 7, and the magnetic dipole moment was 2.09. Some observations were that when the magnetometer is far away from the magnet, it measures a near zero magnetic field in the x direction, and as the magnetometer moves closer to the magnet, the measured x component of the magnetic field increases. The main physics idea in this lab was the Biot-Savart law and how distance affects a bar magnet's magnetic field. The system for this experiment was the bar magnet, the earth, and a cell phone, and the surroundings were the table and rulers. Some potential errors were that there were other magnetic fields interacting other than the bar magnet and the earth, and the phone or bar magnet could have been accidentally moved slightly. Some assumptions made were that the magnetic field reading on the phone was accurate and that the Earth's magnetic field for Atlanta was very close to its actual value from where it was the measurements were taken. This is the glow script model. The orange arrows represent the on-axis magnetic field, the blue arrows represent the perpendicular magnetic field, and the purple arrow represents the 45-degree magnetic field. One of the additional questions was, what if you hadn't oriented your experiment to compensate for magnetic north and had instead laid out your meter stick at some intermediate angle with respect to Earth's magnetic field? How would your results have changed? So the magnetic field measurements for the x and y axes would have changed, but the net magnetic field would have remained the same. Another question was, what if you were to stick two identical magnets together end to end and run the experiment again? How would you expect your measurements to differ? The experiment would perform similarly, but the net magnetic field would be greater.